Hello and welcome to 1-1. Today our video is about estimating whole numbers. Our goal is that you will be able to estimate whole numbers, and we're also going to be talking about estimating using compatible numbers. It's kind of a different way of thinking, and I thought maybe you would enjoy this little comic about estimation. You can pause the video at any time if you need to have more time to listen to something or more time to write something down. But anyways, let's get started. So to start off, I wanted to first define our vocabulary words. Estimate means it's close to the exact answer, but they're usually easier and faster to find. So an estimate would be if I wanted to add what is 39 plus 43, I could say, well, 39 is really close to 40. 43 is also really close to 40, so if I add them together, I'm going to get an 80. So it kind of helps with doing mental math too, or making things a little bit easier. Now, estimating can also involve rounding, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, compatible numbers, they are close to the numbers in the problem and can help you do math mentally. Now, this would be something like, what is 37 divided by 7? Well, 7 doesn't go into 37, so I could use compatible numbers, and instead of saying 37, I could say 35, because I know that 7 goes into 35 5 times. So that's kind of compatible numbers. We use this mainly when we're talking about multiplication and division is when we're going to use our compatible numbers. Here are some more vocabulary words I wanted to quick touch on. Sum is the answer to an addition problem. Difference is the answer to a subtraction problem. Product is the answer to a multiplication problem. And quotient is the answer to a division problem. Now that's all stuff we need to remember. It should hopefully be review. So let's get on with the show. Here's another reminder, I guess. We're not quite getting on with the show yet. Another reminder on place value. We have our ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s, 100,000s. I thought this was kind of a cool visual, thinking about each group as a little house. So we have 1 million, 10 millions, and 100 millions here. So we do need to know our place value because I'm going to be asking you to round to these place values. So if this is something that you may have forgotten or feel like you'd like to write down, this would be a good knowledge to have. Alrighty, here we go. So this is a problem you will see on your assignment. It says to estimate each sum, okay, so that's adding, or difference, subtracting, by rounding to the place value indicated. So you're going to get a problem like this one. 5,439 plus 7,516. And they want you to round this to the thousands. So now if I'm going to do that, it's going to look like this. I like to underline the place value that I'm rounding to, so that I can remind myself that that's where I'm going to. So if I look at what is rounding on a number line, I drew this number line down here at the bottom of the page for you. So we're really asking if I'm rounding to the thousands, I'm saying, okay, I have my number 5,439, and I'm asking myself, is that number closer to 5,000 or 6,000? Now if I look at the 4, I know I'm going to round down to 5,000. Okay, so now for my 7,000, I'm asking, am I going to round that number up to 8,000 or down to 7,000? Well, if I look at my 5, I remember that 5 or more rounds up, so I'm going to be rounding this one to 8,000. So now my last step is I just have to add what is 5,000 plus 8,000, and that would get me to 13,000. Okay, estimate each sum or difference by rounding to the nearest place value indicated. We did that. So this is just what your work is going to look like for this. Yes, I do want you to write down what number you rounded to. So I need you to write down the 5,000, the 8,000, and the 13,000 because I need to see what processes you made. Especially when I'm trying to find errors, it's very hard when you just have an answer down. So please make sure that you do write down what you're rounding the numbers to. Okay, let's try another one. 62,167 minus 47,511, and they want us to round to the 10,000s place. So I'm going to underline where is the 10,000s place. So I've got 6 and a 4. Okay, so if I look at my 2, I'm going to say, okay, 62,000, is that going to go down to 60,000 or up to 70,000? Well, that 2 tells me I'm going to go down to 60,000. And I'm going to subtract from that. Now I'm looking at 47,000 here. So if I look at my 7, I'm asking, is that going to round my number up to 50,000 or down to 40,000? Now the 7 is 5 or more, so that means I'm going to round up to 50,000 here. And I know 60,000 minus 50,000 equals 10,000. 10,000. And then I put a box around my answer. And that's what we have. We have 2 more slides here to look at. Some more problems talking about overestimating or underestimating. If I'm trying to plan for a class party, I don't want to estimate down ever because then I'm going to be short on cups. So let's say I need to buy packs of cups. They come in packs of 20 and I need 32. I'm not going to just buy 1 pack of 20 cups because then I'm going to be short. So in that case, I would overestimate to make sure that I have enough. Now let's read this problem together. Miss Escobar is planning a graduation celebration for the entire 8th grade. There are 9 8th grade homeroom classes of 27 students. Estimate how many cups Miss Escobar needs to buy for the students if they all attended the celebration. So now I need to first ask myself, what operation am I going to use? When I talk about operation, I mean, am I going to add, subtract, multiply, or am I going to divide? Now in this case, I have 9 groups of 27, so I know that I'm going to multiply. But I can't really multiply 9 and 27 in my head. So I'm going to use a thing called compatible numbers to make this problem easier for me. Now I could round 27 down to 25, but can I do 9 times 25 easily in my head? No. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to round 27 up to 30. So now in my head I have to try to do 30 times 9. Well, I know that 9 times 3 is 27, so then I'm just going to have to add my 0 because I'm doing 9 times 30. So I need to make sure that I am getting at least 270 cups. And that would be an overestimation because I rounded my 27 up to 30. Overestimate or overestimate. Okay. So again, I wrote down what numbers I used to get my answer, and that's key, you guys, key. All right, let's go to the last slide here. Our last little word problem here says, Mrs. Bird will drive 120 miles to take Becca to the state fair. She can drive 65 miles in 1 hour. About how long will the trip take? Okay, so if she can drive 65 miles in 1 hour, then we need to figure out how many hours is it going to take her to drive 120 miles. So that's going to look like a division problem. So I need to say how many 65s can go into 120, or that would look like 120 divided by 65. Well, I know that 60 goes into 120. So let's say, well, what if he goes 60 miles per hour and needs to drive 120 miles? Well, it's going to look at about 2 hours to get there. And now this would be using our compatible numbers again, because I know that 65 doesn't go directly into 120, so I'm going to use compatible numbers and do what is 120 divided by 60. So about how long will the trip take? It will take about 2 hours for them to get there. Alrighty, this is all that I have for you today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Don't forget your notebook.